Good evening. This is Jeff Razavir with CountyCoverup. Today's date is July 18th, 2018. This evening, I'm here to give you an update of the investigation of the Fort Recovery hazing scandal. Since we released the video on Friday, we have had a victim come forward of a very, very violent act that was carried out after 2008. That victim is in the process of signing as a plaintiff. That victim is in the process of doing affidavits to turn over to the FBI. We regret to inform you, the citizens, this appears to be worse than we even thought 5 days ago. Father Dorn, when he was interviewed by Jack Bastian, and we will have it in his own words, Father Dorn said this has the scope and size to be as big as Michigan State and Penn State.
Really wanted to get this hushed up.
Oh yeah, absolutely, absolutely. I mean, you can imagine, it'd be a national scandal.
Yeah.
Kind of like on par with Penn State, Michigan State. It would just,
you bet.
It would tar the reputation of the community, etc. Whatever. It needs to be prosecuted, So.
What a tragedy occurred here in Mercer County. Father Dorn referenced, and we'll also include that audio, that there were parents, there were officials who were covering this up because the perpetrators, the victimizers, could not be known to the public.
There is reluctance to talk because there will be backlash in the community. So, because they will be ratting on people.
Right.
And I think that might be the worst, the worst dynamic that you might.
I think you're absolutely right.
And I think too, I got the impression there were adults behind this. Though I mean, this is an impression I got. Not sure if there's any truth behind it, but that would kind of make sense as far as how determined they were not to let this get out.
The tragedy that we're finding is it appears this went on for roughly 20 plus years. We have now found out that it happened in the 1990s, 2004, 2007, 2008, and at least one incident after 2008 when Jeff Gray failed to do his obligation. At this point, the severity of this is only worsening. From what we can tell, it was a rite of passage. Father Dorn acknowledges it was a rite of passage in the Fort Recovery community. The spirit stick would come out for freshmen, University of Findlay basketball camp. Between them being terrorized, sometimes sodomized, victimized in other areas, and oftentimes urination was involved. It was a disgusting, horrible criminal act carried against these youth. The dilemma is we found out that the victims went on to become the victimizers. The rite of passage appears to be, from what we're being told, you would be a victim as a freshman, and then you would carry on this tradition as an upperclassman. This tradition has to end. At this point, as we are gathering the plaintiffs, as we're gathering the affidavits, your coming forward as a victim will be confidential. Your coming forward as a plaintiff, we believe, will be confidential. The young man we're signing today for an affidavit and is signing as a plaintiff against Jeff Gray and other officials in this county, we believe it'll be a John Doe case the entire way because of the violence that was perpetrated against him. At this point, Mercer County residents, we implore you to ask your leadership to do the right thing. At this point, I'd like to ask Jack Bastian to come up and share his updated information of what he learned this weekend. Thank you.
Good evening. I'm Jack Bastian, Private Investigator, State of Ohio. Since my last update, I've actually interviewed Lieutenant Ring, who's the Chief of Detectives of the Findlay Police Department. And the question I had for him, has there ever been any reports made by Jeff Gray, the Sheriff of Mercer County, or any law enforcement agency in Mercer County filed any reports in regards to this heinous crimes that have occurred? His answer to this was no. I would suggest very strongly to the citizens of Mercer County to step up to the plate and let's resolve this heinous crime and put this to bed so these kids can go on and live a normal, decent life. Also, I should like to report that I have been in contact with BCI Supervisor Jeff Cook, who has actually refused to allow me to talk to his agent, who was a former deputy sheriff in Mercer County at the time of 2008 when the first crime occurred, apparently. Thank you.
Jack, thank you for your dedication and your excellent work. Citizens, Jeff Gray is delusional. I've seen some of his postings and what he's done the last 3 days. This is a power-hungry man who plans to stay at all cost. He's dragging your county into a mess. The national media, there is going to be a story. This is possibly the worst hazing incident with violence in high school history, in American history. Father Dorn acknowledges that in his own words. Citizens, we believe that the best outcome is let's have the FBI talk to who we've spoken to. We've got over 10 audio tapes. 9 of them we have to keep confidential yet because of the victims and or the officials involved. We have these audio tapes. We've asked Greg Homan to sit down, the commissioner, and hear what they are. Citizens, no, Jeff Gray can't do this investigation. He has already proven who he is, covering it up the first time. Citizens, Mike DeWine and BCI cannot do this investigation. Mike DeWine's running for governor. Mike DeWine has to explain why Chris Hamburg got that job and why Mike DeWine is sidestepping this horrific act. Rather, we need to bring in the FBI of Toledo. I'm going to personally appeal to you citizens to ask Commissioner Greg Homan to get involved. Mr. Homan, you are a fine man. I have always respected you. Mr. Homan, I believe in you. Of any official in Mercer County, you're the official, I believe, who knows right from wrong. Mr. Homan, I ask you tonight to say a prayer with your family. I ask you to contact me, Jeff Razavir. We will meet with you, Jack Bastian, my attorneys, the Detroit Crime Commission. We will show you what we've got, but we'll only meet with you. We will show it to you, and we want to ask you to ask the FBI to come in. Mercer County, if you want to put this to bed, let's let the FBI do a 2-day investigation. For Recovery Schools, we know you've lawyered up. I've been contacted by your lawyer. For Recovery Schools, let's get to the bottom of this. Let's have the FBI come in and do a 2-day investigation. We know who they need to talk to. We know whose medical reports need to be pulled at Mercer Health. Finley University, your lawyers also contacted us. Finley, this occurred, Finley University, up to 20 years at your school. Let's put this to bed. You join us in a press conference. Let's ask the FBI to come in. 2 days of questioning. Mercer Health, we implore you. We have been told there are medical records of a couple of these victims. You need to look at your documents, and if you have the verification that we have been told you have, you need to turn that over to the FBI. This is very, very serious. Citizens, at this point, we hope to report back to you next time that we're making steps for an FBI investigation. At that point, we believe we can get to the bottom of this. Citizens, we do not believe Jeff Gray is going to do the right thing. Jeff Gray is truly a delusional megalomaniac. You're going to need to step in. Jeff Gray is going to take you with him. These lawsuits that are probably going to happen are going to be very large. He's only making it worse for you citizens. And at the end of the day, Jeff Gray will ride off in the sunset to Florida unless they hopefully put him to prison. And you're going to be left with the baggage. Citizens, if we do another videotape, which we hope not to, we have an accounting of how violent these acts are. We do not want to give this out to the public. We do not want to do that. But if we need to do this for you to understand how truly heinous this is, we will do it if compelled. Again, Greg Homan, we ask you to do the right thing. Thank you.